Hi everyone. This video is based on the second chapter of the fifth unit in the 8th Standard English Reader. The chapter is a story version of Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice. I intend to give a short summary of the chapter. Before we get into the summary, let's get to know the writer Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was an English poet and playwright. A playwright is a person who writes plays or dramas. Shakespeare is regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. His works consist of 37 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 narrative poems. A sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. His plays are divided into 4 main categories: comedies, tragedies, histories, and romances. Written sometime between 1596 and 1598, The Merchant of Venice is classified as an early Shakespearean comedy. The Merchant of Venice opens by introducing us to the main character, Antonio. Antonio is introduced as a young, honest, and kind merchant who lived in the town of Venice. A merchant is a person involved in wholesale trade. Venice is a city in Italy. Antonio loved helping people in trouble, and for this reason, he was greatly loved by the people of Venice. He had a bosom friend by the name Bassanio. A bosom friend is your closest friend, your best friend. Bassanio was not very rich. The little money he had, he spent lavishly by living a luxurious life. Whenever he was in need of money, Antonio helped him. They were such close and great friends. Bassanio was in love with a very rich lady named Portia. She too loved Bassanio. She lived in a place named Belmont in Italy. Bassanio wished to marry Portia, but he did not even have the money to dress himself properly to go and propose Portia. So he went to Antonio and told him all about his love for Portia and his desire to go to Belmont as a suitor to Portia. He asked Antonio to lend him 3,000 ducats. Ducat is a gold coin minted by various European countries. But Antonio himself at that time was short of cash. He had spent all his money on his merchant ships, and his ships were all at sea. However, he did not want to disappoint Bassanio and decided to borrow the amount that Bassanio needed from Shylock, a moneylender he knew. Antonio was sure that he would be able to return the money to Shylock once his ships came back. Now, Shylock was a moneylender who had become very rich by lending money to merchants at a very high interest. He was a cruel and greedy man, and no good person in Venice liked him. Antonio also did not like Shylock. Both of them were very different. While Shylock lent money to the merchants on high interest, Antonio was someone who lent money to the needy people without taking any interest. Because of this reason, Shylock hated Antonio and was waiting for a chance to take revenge on him. Antonio and Bassanio went to Shylock, and Antonio asked Shylock to lend his friend Bassanio 3,000 ducats at any interest. He promised Shylock that he would pay back the money as soon as his ships returned from the sea. Shylock thought deeply about this and told Antonio he had no problem lending Bassanio the money. He said he needed no interest. Actually, Shylock said so because he had a wicked plan in his mind. Antonio was surprised by what Shylock said. Shylock repeated that he was ready to lend 3,000 ducats with no interest at all if the money was repaid in time. He had only one condition. He wanted Antonio to go with him to an advocate or a lawyer and sign a bond stating that if Antonio did not return the money in time, Shylock would cut off a pound of flesh from any part of Antonio's body. Shylock said he wanted to do it for fun. Bassanio tried to stop his friend Antonio from taking such a huge risk for him, but Antonio wouldn't listen to it. He was sure that his ships would return with the money one day before the day of payment. Antonio signed the bond, got the money from Shylock, and handed over the money to Bassanio. As soon as he got the money, Bassanio set off to Belmont with another friend of his to ask Portia to be his wife. When Bassanio reached Belmont, Portia was happy to know that he had come as a suitor because she liked him very much. But at the same time, she was worried if he would be able to win in the challenge raised by her father before his death. According to her father's will, Portia could not choose her own husband. She could marry only the man who chose the correct one of three caskets, one gold, one silver, and one lead. A casket is a little box. In one of the caskets was Portia's picture. That was the correct casket. Only the man who chose the casket with Portia's picture in it could marry Portia. This challenge was set up by her father before his death because he wanted to save Portia from greedy suitors. A suitor is a person who goes after someone, especially a woman, for marriage. Bassanio rightly chose the lead casket in which was kept Portia's picture. Both he and Portia were overjoyed and they made plans to get married immediately. Before the wedding, Bassanio told Portia the truth about how he was not a very rich man. The only thing that he could be proud of was the fact that he was born into a high family of nobles. In her turn, Portia confessed that she had not been to school. She said she did not care about money at all. She had enough of it. She loved Bassanio for his goodness. She said she would give all her money to him. Saying that, she gave him a ring as a token of love and made him promise that he would never part with it under any circumstance. As they were thus enjoying and celebrating, a messenger arrived there in in Belmont, with a letter from Antonio. The letter was for Bassanio. In the letter, Antonio had written that his ships had all lost at sea. There was no way to return Shylock's money now. Antonio bid farewell to Bassanio in the letter because he knew that he would not leave after Shylock cut off a piece from his body. Bassanio was horrified after reading the letter that he decided to go to Venice at once. Portia told Bassanio that Antonio should not lose his life because of Bassanio's fault. She decided to get married to Bassanio then and there itself so that he would have a right to all her money. Soon after the wedding, Bassanio set off to Venice with the money that Portia had given him to pay off Antonio's debt. In Venice, Shylock was no longer interested in taking the money that Bassanio offered him. He insisted on having a piece of flesh from Antonio's body. So a day was fixed, a day of trial, to try this case in a court of justice. The Duke of Venice would be the judge of this strange case. In great terror, Bassanio waited for the day of the trial. The day of the trial arrived. Antonio was prepared to die because he knew Shylock would not show him any mercy or kindness. The Duke himself pleaded with Shylock to show mercy. Bassanio said he was ready to pay double the sum to Shylock. But Shylock refused all these offers. He began to sharpen his long knife to cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. At this point, Portia, dressed like a lawyer, entered the court with her friend Nerissa. Nerissa was dressed like a lawyer's clerk. Portia had reached Venice from Belmont to speak for Antonio and save him. Because Portia and her friend were dressed like a lawyer and a lawyer's clerk, nobody recognized them, not even Portia's husband, Bassanio. Portia, dressed like a lawyer, presented a letter to the Duke. The letter was from a learned lawyer named Bellario. The letter said that the person who brought the letter could be allowed to plead the case for Antonio as he was sick and could not come. The letter stated that the new lawyer's name was Balthasar. So, Portia, with her name Balthasar, her lawyer's gown, and large wig could not be recognized by anyone. She looked just like a lawyer. The trial began. Portia looked around and saw Shylock. She saw Bassanio too, but he did not understand that it was Portia because she was dressed like a lawyer and had told the court that her name was Balthasar. So, Portia, dressed like Balthasar, dressed as Balthasar, read the bond and informed Shylock that he had all the right to cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. Shylock felt very happy. Portia then went on to make a speech about the noble quality of mercy. She hoped that would change Shylock's mind. But the greedy and cruel moneylender insisted on getting a pound of flesh from Antonio's body as stated in the bond. Portia, dressed as a young lawyer Balthasar, asked the court if Antonio could not pay the money. Bassanio then said that he was ready to give Shylock triple the amount borrowed from him. Triple is 3 times. But Shylock refused it. The young Balthasar read the bond once again and informed the court that as per the bond, Shylock had the right to cut off a pound of flesh from near Antonio's heart. Balthasar again asked Shylock one last time to be merciful towards Antonio, but Shylock said that no one could change his mind. The young lawyer Balthasar asked Antonio to get ready for the knife. While Shylock sharpened his knife to cut off the pound of flesh from Antonio, Balthasar or Portia asked Antonio if he had anything to say. Antonio very calmly said that he had nothing to say and that he was prepared to die. He then turned to Bassanio and asked him not to be sad. He said goodbye to Bassanio and asked him to give his regards to his new wife. Bassanio in great sadness replied that even though he was married to someone who was as dear as his own life, he was ready to sacrifice his wife, his life, and the whole world to save his friend's life. By now, Shylock, who was ready with his knife, started getting impatient. He wanted to cut off the pound of flesh from Antonio as quickly as possible. Everyone who had gathered in the court felt sad for the good man Antonio. Just as Shylock was ready to cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio's body, Portia or Balthasar asked Shylock if there were balances to weigh the flesh, and Shylock said he had them ready. The lawyer then asked him if Shylock had kept a doctor ready if Antonio bled to death. Shylock said no and added that it was not written in the bond. Portia or Balthasar said that even if it was not written in the bond, Shylock should have called a doctor for the sake of kindness. Shylock again replied that it was not there in the bond. The young lawyer then informed Shylock that he could cut off a piece of flesh off Antonio's chest, but he had to be very careful to cut off exactly 1 pound of flesh. But as per the bond, he was not allowed to spill even 1 drop of Antonio's blood while doing so. If he spilled even 1 drop of blood, then all of Shylock's lands and goods and wealth would be taken over by the state of Venice. Hearing this, Shylock got totally confused. He could not understand how he would cut off a pound of flesh without shedding or spilling some of Antonio's blood. Shylock understood that he was defeated and quickly decided to take the triple amount of money that had been offered by Bassanio. Bassanio was overjoyed at this unexpected turn of events and asked Shylock to take the money. But Portia, dressed as Balthasar, said no. Shylock then offered to take only the original 3,000 ducats, but again Portia or Balthasar refused him. The young lawyer reminded Shylock that it was he who wanted to do exactly what was written in the bond. She said that because Shylock tried to kill one of the citizens of Venice, all his wealth would be taken over by the state. Balthasar also reminded Shylock that his life was now at the mercy of the Duke. The young lawyer asked Shylock to ask the Duke to pardon him. The Duke decided to let go of Shylock, but he also decided to give half of Shylock's money to Antonio and the other half to the state of Venice. The Duke then released Antonio and dismissed the court. He then praised the young lawyer Balthasar for his wisdom and invited him home to dinner. But Balthasar refused the dinner. Meanwhile, the overjoyed Antonio and Bassanio offered to pay the young lawyer whatever they could. But strangely enough, the lawyer wished to have only the ring that Bassanio was wearing. Bassanio did not want to give away that ring because it had been gifted to him by his wife, Portia. He did not understand that it was his wife Portia who was standing there dressed as Balthasar, the young lawyer. Bassanio told Balthasar that he could not part with the ring as it was a gift from his wife and she had told him not to part with it. But the lawyer insisted on the ring and finally Bassanio had to give away the ring. Portia then returned to Belmont as quickly as possible because she wanted to reach there before her husband. Arriving at Belmont, she waited for her husband. When Bassanio, along with Antonio, reached Belmont, she asked her husband where the ring was. Bassanio told her that he had given it to the lawyer who had saved Antonio's life. But Portia said that she was sure that he had given it to some other woman. Bassanio tried to tell her that it was not true. After putting her husband through some long, agonizing moments, Portia finally gave the ring to Bassanio and confessed to her husband that it was she and her friend Nerissa who had come to Venice as the young lawyer Balthasar and the lawyer's clerk. Portia then gave a letter to Antonio which contained the message that Antonio's ships, supposed to be lost, had safely arrived at the harbor. Everyone was happy. Things had ended happily for all of them.